As we work our way through the collection, we'll see a number of different species throughout here. Here's another vanilla pompona. This one is somewhat sterile. It produces only a few pods and mostly very small pods. The yield is very low, so this would be a risky type to produce even if you were trying to produce vanilla pompona commercially. This succession here is the one we call Daphne. This is the one that we sequenced the genome of. And as you can see here, it's a bean producing plant. It's got a nice green color. It has a lot of vegetative material compared to the amount of beans on it. But this is a great genetic resource for us to use to figure out different biochemical pathways that might give us larger beans or better flavor beans. This is vanilla barbellata. This is one of our native leafless species. You can see the beans here. These beans came from flowers that were pollinated over a year ago. So we're interested in the length of time it takes to go from flower to bean. And this seems to be one of the species where the beans are just extremely long lasting on the vine. We don't know why that is or what quality the beans might have other than that. But it's a difference that we've noticed, and we're excited to see what potential it might have. This is Vanilla imperialis. This came from an orchid collector. Vanilla imperialis is nice because it not only does it have a large size, it also has very thick and large beans. This one is not approved for food use, but this is one of the rare vanilla species where the flowers last longer than 1 day. So we've noticed that flowers on Vanilla imperialis in Florida will last and look fresh up to 7 days before they close and decline. So the flower is also extremely beautiful. It's got some nice red color to it. It opens full. So this might have ornamental value for southern Florida just for orchid enthusiasts. This is an interesting vanilla species. We're not quite sure yet if it's a hybrid between Vanilla planifolia and Vanilla pompona. We know for sure that it has Vanilla planifolia in its background, most likely its mother, but it does produce these massive beans. They're extremely long, they're thick beans, and the plant is actually producing much sooner than we would have expected it to based on being planifolia alone, given our conditions here, our environment. And so this is one that might be an interesting upcoming star for future production in southern Florida. This is Vanilla planifolia painter. This is the type that we're recommending for commercial production in South Florida. One of the reasons we like this plant so much is because of its extra large beans. And so it's a heavy producer. We get a large number of beans per raceme. The beans are a large size, and the vanillin content we found for the previous growing season was around 3.5% on a dry weight basis. So this plant grows well in southern Florida. It does well in the environment. It propagates easily, and it's also virus free. So this is one that we're looking again to propagate, to get out to commercial growers to see how it does on a larger scale. These are two examples of actually what we're looking for a better type of plant for southern Florida. So in terms of production, we want more of the carbon in the plant going towards bean production. So both of these plants here have less vegetative material, so less stem, leaf material, and more beans per plant. And so this one, you might have the same number of plants in a given area, but it's going to put much more energy into the beans itself. The beans are a good size, relatively decent yields, and again, virus-free material. So these again might also be interesting for commercial cultivation in southern Florida. We have 4 native species of vanilla in southern Florida, and this is another one of them. This is Vanilla deloniana. This one's extremely popular such that it's been illegally over-collected in natural areas and is no longer thought to exist in these natural areas. We have a permit to work with this in our collection. This can be owned as long as it's sold by a nursery that is licensed to sell endangered species to make sure that we're not exploiting our natural resources. One of the reasons people like this plant so much is because of its pretty red flower. It also has a nice aroma to the flower, which is desirable, though bean quality is nowhere near what you would get with the commercial quality because it's a non-aromatic species in terms of the bean.